To hello and welcome to Midnight Podcast. Today we have Yesik Zeke
Sup?
and two of the co-founders from Reus, or however you want to pronounce it.
Manuel and I forget again.
Bas,
It's difficult, boss. Yeah.
with a B.
Boss, okay. The thing is with your name is it's not similar to any name I know in any language. So
Yeah,
It's like Rose.
it's from Bastion, actually.
Yeah, it's the first two letters of Bastion.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
That's actually pretty awesome. Alright, so I guess should we start with games of the week, or should we
start
with
with the interview.
Okay. So I'm just going to let you guys introduce yourselves and your game.
Okay. So my name is Manuel, and next to me is Bas, and we're two of the four co-founders of Abbey Games, and together with a lot of cool people, we worked on Reus the past 1.5 years, and it's our god game, and we just released it, and it's been going pretty well. Responses are overwhelming, and so what is the game about? It's a 2D god game. It's for PC, and you just move. Oh yeah, I can actually describe Jesse playing the game. So you have these giants, and you can use all kinds of abilities to upgrade the nature on the planet, to build ecosystems. And if you do well enough, humanity will settle down. You see a village here, and they will start using your resources. And that's all nice and stuff, and they will help your giants level up so that you can create better resources, more interesting, can create more interesting ecosystems. Until they start wanting things from you, like this project. They want to build a trade post, and that's where you have to start feeding them, or you don't have to, but that's what they ask of you. And basically, humanity works like this. If you give them too much, they'll start being assholes, I guess.
Yeah, I can say that with authority. Assholes.
Yeah. And a lot of nasty stuff happens, and it's themed around the greed of humanity, and your goal is to create a balance between nature and mankind.
Yeah. So it's really a complex game, and my first question is, they clearly do play it, but how did you know that people wouldn't just be turned off by the sheer complexity? Because it took me playing through the tutorials and being yelled at in my comment section to figure anything out.
That's a good question, and the answer to that is we kind of didn't. Just that we kind of like it ourselves. So we thought there have to be more people that like this, and there isn't another god game out there anytime in the last a lot. So we kind of went for that.
Okay.
And I think Adrian, our lead designer, he's very much into games like Civilization 5, and Europa Universalis. I think Football Manager, which is also a really complex game. So he knows that there's a niche that enjoys really complex games. Yeah.
The other thing I kind of want to ask, but I've completely forgotten, so I'll just come up with another question while I stall for time. is in the future, this is probably a closing question, but do you plan to actually have some more DLC to have different biomes, or has it been built with that in mind for the future, is what I'm basically trying to say.
Well, at the start of the project we envisioned everything really different. A lot of things changed. We basically thought that we should have 10 giants and equally as many ecosystems, and there would be this really deep natural simulation, but that didn't work out gameplay-wise. It just wasn't fun to play with, and we did want to have a game that's fun, except for a simulation. And so in the process after that, the number of biomes just kept going down until we had what we have now, which is still like quite a few. We could add biomes. The system would support that, but it's one of the ideas. We have a lot of ideas on how to expand those, and we basically just want to discuss with the community to see what would be coolest to do.
So what would you guys enjoy the most?
What would I enjoy the most? Well, a couple episodes ago in the Let's Play, I actually made like this huge mountainous pass, and then tried to settle a village on top of it.
So villages in the mountains.
Basically, I wouldn't care for the idea of more giants. It's already hard enough with 4 of them.
Yeah, we think so too.
Yeah, but it would be cool to have more combination biomes. You know, just to have biomes that can fuse together, or you can make new biomes by having certain things next to each other.
Sort of like a symbiosis thing.
Yeah.
We had, during development we were looking at jungles, which basically you had to create this Mother Jungle Tree, I believe it was called, and that would create a jungle inside the forest. So in that way you could create a different biome within the forest itself.
So what? Oh, sorry.
Just that was my question. Is that something that you mean?
Yes, that's pretty much exactly what I mean. For a while I was trying to think of a way that you could possibly fit in ocean villages. And what actually got me on this track was initially when I was trying to achievement hunt to get up to level 2. They wanted me to make a fishing village, and no matter what I tried, I could not get the villagers to move in the ocean, so in the end I ended up just collapsing oceans around them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way you can think when you're a god. They have that solution clear.
But even then, they started a granary project.
Oh.
So I just destroyed the village and waited for another one to move in.
Yeah, if you don't care about human lives, that's okay.
Yeah.
Who cares about human life? No one needs it.
I would make a really poor god. Just saying right out of the gate here.
I mean, people can see that, I guess, on the game.
Yeah.
You're actually doing really well. You already have 94 prosperity. It's quite high.
No, this game is actually ridiculous. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, this is pre-recorded. In this game, I think I get up to 1200 prosperity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, it's the best game I've ever played, and it was free play and not for a Let's Play.
So there was no pleasure yet.
Yeah.
I had a fairly long play, but then I accidentally made one town or city or whatever really greedy. Like I looked away from it for like 2 seconds, and then I looked back, and somehow they had like 200 food supply. Like I don't even know what happened. But anyway, so they started attacking my ocean giant, and I didn't know that the giants could die at the time. But my ocean giant died, and then the game ended.
Yeah, so that's I guess pesky humanity. Sometimes they have these inventions that they build a project, and the project says for each food we will get a technology, and then suddenly they're way smarter than you, and then you shouldn't look away.
I actually did notice that even in this playthrough, I'm not going to skip to it or anything, that I was trying to upgrade a desert village when they started requesting absolutely ridiculous projects. And because of, it was actually a forest village, they wanted a circus. And the only reason they didn't rise up and attack me is because it involved putting so much danger around them.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I'd put down a single animal and they'd suddenly gain like 80 wealth and 50 food, and I'm like, oh god, they're gonna get way too greedy.
Yeah.
But did you manage to achieve the circus?
Yes, I did actually get the circus.
Oh, that's so awesome! I want to see the clowns.
I want to see the clowns. Oh man.
I've seen him so much, so I want to see him. Did you hear that they make sounds?
No, I did not. To be honest, I was entirely intent at this point in the game on focusing on doing well, so we had some good footage to go around and not just me sucking. And
are you doing great right now?
As you and a lot of my other subscribers know, I have a really hard time with pausing the game.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. I never pause it either.
Yeah.
I pause it all the time. It's overpowered actually.
His 30-minute games always take like 5 hours.
No, my 2-hour games
Take 5
hours.
It's insane.
I think it's pretty convenient though, the spacebar pausing.
Yeah, it's incredibly convenient, but it's just I don't like playing like that.
Well,
That's
if it's supposed to be played like that, I might try, but the thing is, I'm so used to other RTS games that I'm comparing this to RTS because there's so much micromanagement of everything.
yeah.
That I'm not used to being able to pause. If something's happening, if I'm being attacked, I'm not used to being able to be like, okay, pause for a second, let's work this out.
Yeah. Yeah. So our lead designer, he's currently holding the high score in the game. He also never pauses, or maybe sometimes, but to think of a plan. But usually he just plays in one straight line.
So another quick question, and we were talking about this earlier. I have a really hard time figuring out the tech tree in this. Is there... Sorry about that, I cut off for a couple seconds. Is there some way to actually observe the tech tree, or to know what it is, or to know how to get the further unlocks?
Actually, one of the guys on our forum, he made tech trees, and it's on the wiki.
Yeah, so in the end, we decided to. We were working on a lot of feedback elements, so you can see the tech tree locally. So if you have a blueberry, you can see it evolves in either a strawberry or an apple tree, but you can never see the rest of the information. So that's why we started a wiki. We put a lot of the gameplay information on there, and you can visit it at wiki.reusgame.com. You'll find it, and someone of the community, like Bas said, put up tech trees there as well. And we think they look really nice and they're really useful.
Okay, so you were talking about possible future plans for the game, I'm not going to say whether it's updates or DLCs. Do you have, like, other than community discussion, have you discussed it among the dev team so far, or is it so far no plans, nothing in the works, or nothing that you can think of?
We definitely considered some plans, but as we didn't know what kind of position we would be in after the launch, we couldn't really decide on anything. So we basically said, let's first release the game, then see what happens, then see what people think, and then select some ideas together with the rest, together with the community. And so that's where we're now.
Okay, well, I do know, so I'd assume you're in a good position. I'm not entirely sure, but I do notice you've been up in 4th and 3rd place on the top sellers board for the last 3 days.
Yeah, we've also been in 2nd on like a really short moment. That was pretty cool.
And to be honest, the only reason, in my opinion, that it's like that is because Steam is putting on some pretty crazy weekend sales, which I actually...
Yeah, right. Like Counter-Strike, they suddenly have a
free weekend
because they were scared of us.
There was also Borderlands 2
for $10, which is absolutely ridiculous. Speaking on a different point, I know this is kind of straying from the interview, but I really think that Steam should talk to devs more often to plan releases for games that are kind of exclusive. You know, make sure not too much else is going on at the same time. Does Steam offer anything like that? Could you choose your own release date, or do they have a slot for you?
No, you can be totally free with that. We just...
We basically chose our own release date, and then you have to figure out what happens around it.
But would you have, could you have noted that Borderlands 2 and Counter-Strike would have been on sale this weekend? Would they have told you that, or?
No, they wouldn't. No, I don't think they would at all. But also for us,
it would also be a little weird situation that they would help devs beat each other, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that isn't really helping devs beat each other. That's more making sure that a game gets its own standalone release.
Yeah, but there's a lot of content on Steam, and I don't think I'm not even sure if it's possible. I mean, I haven't looked into the weeks around release yet, but
mostly I'm just kind of I know you probably aren't at all, but I'm slightly outraged for you. Not about the 2 other indie games that came out, but just that 2 AAA games went on sale like 2 seconds before. Because I think you should actually have the top seller spot.
and Metro came out as well.
Yeah, and Metro.
Yeah.
Yeah, day after us. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you guys are way better than Metro. Just saying.
Oh, wow.
Thanks.
Oh, we didn't have a chance to play Metro yet.
It's I like the design of the guns. I like very little else about the game, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Pump
We'll have
action
to check
guns
it
are
out.
kind of cool.
I'm just a book nerd, so it's strayed from the book with the ending of the first game, so I just didn't even play the second.
Anyways, back to the interview.
Yeah,
You
let's do
actually covered most of the stuff I was going to talk about, Yasik.
Also, I've played the game. I think I have like 8 hours on the game already.
Oh yeah, I noticed you had a ton.
So I have all the questions, I think. So the other thing I wanted to ask, like you said the wiki is up, but do you plan on maybe in the future implementing like an unlock system where it tells you when you unlock things? Because like I said, I have a really tough time with the animals. Like I'm trying to do predators and I'm rebuilding tech trees over and over again in my games because it's just not in my nature to use wikis while I play.
Yeah, okay. I
makes
can imagine
sense.
that if you want to play in full screen on one screen, it's not really convenient to have a wiki open. But yeah, the thing is, there are some arguments on both sides because if you tell a player in which way they can unlock everything, then you won't be surprised anymore by any unlocks because in the end of the game you will know what you unlock, and you can basically plan your entire way through the game. No, that's not true. Adrian would definitely not agree with that.
Well, I'm not talking so much like plan the unlocks or have an unlock tree. I'm thinking more along the lines of, you know, you have finished this project. These animals are now available.
Let me think.
Because that would be really nice for me. Because when I start a tree, I don't know what animals are available to me and from what thing. Although in this game I had my first encounter with greater versions of animals, and I've noticed the tech tree really expands when you do that.
Yeah, that's totally right. Yeah, on each tire you unlock a lot of new, a lot of new types of animals and plants. Mine.
Can you guys actually turn up your volume a tiny bit? I'm having a bit of a hard time hearing you at times.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
all
were
right.
leaning back.
Get a little closer.
So you pretty much plan to stick to what's currently available. I'm not saying that's a poor thing. I'm just, you know, when you're interviewing somebody, you tend to raise negative points more than positive. It's the nature
No,
of the thing.
I understand that. When we are planning on expanding the game, at some point. No, not at some point. We are probably going to do that. It's just we're not sure what it's going to be because we want to listen to the community and maybe add some of our own ideas to it.
Yeah, what's also a thing is that there are a lot of different player types out there, and in the end, we really had to think about who is going to play our game and what are they going to think about it, and who should we cater to? Like, is it the hardcore gamer, or should we help people that are having trouble at the start? Should we help the expressive player, or like more the gaming player? And we're just going to look who in the end plays our game, and we'll make our decisions based on that, I think. Because in the end, your opinion is there's probably someone with the exact opposite opinion as well.
Oh, of course. But, you know, as a YouTuber, you tend to be a bit narcissistic.
Okay, we'll make the game entirely to your preferences.
Awesome. Another thing that the whole community discussion brings up is your community is amazing. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I started playing and I did have like a 3-day jump on most people. And I get about 60 comments a day, or 50 comments a day since the game's release, that are telling me things I didn't know.
Yeah, we're actually really amazed by all the cool people as well, because we didn't know that, I think I twittered about it as well, but the community learns so fast. Like, we had some beta players, like 100 or something, and they knew a lot of the game, of course, but I think a lot of people picked it up really quickly. Yeah, if you look at the achievements that are already achieved in the Steam window, you see people are going through it quite fast. You already unlocked greater resources, which is pretty far along in the game.
Well, as a Let's Player, I'm very limited in the amount of play I can do, because everything I do, I post on YouTube the same day, and I try to only do it at a rate of one a day. So I knew the players would catch up to me. I just didn't expect them to catch up and pass me in half a day's time.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? And I think you also had the same with the support, because Bas has been hanging around on the forums and everywhere to like help people with issues that there still are. And then as soon as a fix went up, the fix would be spread out by a lot of other people, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's amazing. So, on the forums, like I've told you, I'm not a big forum person. I don't hang out on them very often. But they're fairly active. Like, you're getting a fair amount of discussions a day. And what are the discussions generally about? Like, what are people saying about the game or talking about?
I really don't know.
To be honest, I mostly hang out on the technical support forum. And
I'm trying to empty our inbox, which is basically impossible because it's empty.
But Adrian, our designer, does all the forum chatting.
Let's just have a
We
look.
can let's have a look.
I think somebody in the chat was actually asking about your art team. How big is it? And
Let's see. There's the lead designer, who's also a co-founder of the company.
I mean, lead artist?
Sorry, yeah, lead artist. And then there is Ronnie, who created all the giants and their animations. We have Rick, who created all the animals and the animations.
Yeah.
And a lot of other stuff. And we have Marlies, who created the initial art style, I guess, and all the villagers and a lot of houses and projects. And we have Mitchell, who also created a lot of houses and some more plants and a lot of other stuff.
were there any this isn't a question that was in the chat. This is just a question I'm asking as an artist for an indie company as well. But were there any big inspirations that you guys had for your art, or do you know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're both not part of the artist team, so we can't say ourselves definitely. But there was a movie we used as inspiration for the theme, and you'll definitely recognize some part of the art style as well. Maybe it's nice to put a link on. Can I do that?
I actually have the link. I'm just going to get it right now.
Oh yeah, sure, do that.
Because I put it up in my Reus preview video. I have also got to say that the amount you've been interacting with the community, or even myself, is absolutely astounding. Are you guys like just still in your offices, still working, but instead of doing game programming work now, just hanging out with the community and seeing what they have to say?
Yeah.
Like, is that what your work has turned into now?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so Bas is mostly dealing with the issues, but that's also, of course, community work, because he's talking with a lot of people who are experiencing these things and who can help figuring out what is happening. While I am trying to teach as many people about the game as possible, and then Adrian is hanging out in the forums, Martin as well. So, and it's also a lot of fun. I mean, we want to know what people are, how people are liking the game. So, yeah. And I think nothing went really wrong with the release, so that's why we have the luxury of doing this, and we'd much rather hang out with the community than sleep.
An all-nighter last night.
Yeah, I just woke up an hour before this podcast.
So did Jessic.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sloth-like that way.
Well, he's 9 hours behind you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, San Francisco.
Oh, are you?
No, you are in San Francisco, right?
Oh wow!
I'm not. I'm.
You
on
should
the-
look at the game, because you have a plantation, and in the plantation sometimes there are rare occurrences of specializations. So now you see the orange-colored tea plantation. I've actually never seen it before, because it's really rare. Like, oranges are a really rare color.
I completely fail at it. I'll tell you that much, because I can't figure out how to make tea in this game.
Oh yeah, you probably cannot make tea yet.
Yeah. So like, I keep getting at this point of the game, I actually keep having to abandon projects. But one of the strangest learning curves for me is that you shouldn't focus on every project, because sometimes they just come up with new ones and they're much easier.
Yeah. You can even destroy them if you want, and then you can just like wait what they'll build next. Sometimes they'll get the hint. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually kind of a cool thing. Was the game initially designed like that you should actually ignore bits of it, or was it initially designed so that you would kind of focus on everything at the same time?
No. We wanted the player to have a choice in what he would do. Like in the end, it's best if you do solve the projects. Like if you start interacting with the projects, but yeah, you should definitely choose which ones you're going to handle. For example, if you have a lot of deserts, you're going to have a lot of banks, and banks, they all want to be the richest, so you can't win them all in that case. And sometimes they ask really nasty stuff of you, so yeah, you have to make some choices in there.
Like destroying a village, sometimes you just don't want to do that.
They'll actually ask you to do that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
they'll
Oh, you
actually ask
didn't
you.
find out yet?
I didn't. Wow.
It's in the barracks, I believe.
It's in.
The sacrificial altar.
Don't spoil the game, Bob.
Oh, sorry. I didn't say anything. It's not true.
Now, this is probably just me in being really bad at gaming in general, especially when I have to talk about it. But have you guys ever had these games where you have tons of wealth, except near the very end, your villages start attacking the giants, so you just run them around the world over and over again until the time's up?
Well, that sounds a little bit cowardly.
But at that point, I didn't actually want to destroy the village because that would get rid of all my points.
Yeah. So what you can do is just like kill the guys that are chasing you. Then sometimes they'll get the message as well.
Yeah. Well, I have also done that, but generally, sometimes the two attacking units, the swamp giant and the rock giant, are just at completely separate ends of the world, or one's doing something. So I'll just have like the forest giant who's being attacked run around in a complete circle, and then when he gets back to the center, I'll have the rock giant planning an attack.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds pretty elaborate. Yeah. So we designed it like the giants can take a lot of punches, of course, because they're super mighty. But in the end, when they develop like stronger weapons, then you will definitely have problems if you don't run away right away. And we just want to show how humanity at first is just your little puppet to play with, but in the end they can go quite nasty, and you would have to use these kind of tactics. Yeah.
These 2-hour games can go completely crazy.
Completely wrong.
Yeah.
So does the giant's health regenerate if they get attacked?
Actually, they don't, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna spoil something again. But the ocean giant has a healing ability, so you can heal your giants except for your ocean giant.
Okay.
Okay, that actually makes sense. I think even in this little recording, I at some point try to heal the ocean giant and it doesn't work.
Nope.
Yeah. It's a little. That ability doesn't have really good feedback. You basically aim it in either the left or the right direction, and it shoots a wave out to the nearest giant. That's how it works.
Other questions? I know the second we stop this interview, I'm going to think of like 100 more questions. It's going to be awful.
And we'll just make a fake stop, and then.
Yeah. Okay. Interview's done.
No, the interview but okay. Is the interview done? I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Just a fake stop.
Just a fake stop, okay.
Go for it.
I always fall for fake stops. When I focus on 2 or 3 things at a time, I always get fooled by whatever anyone says. No exceptions.
But did it work? Did you get your questions? Did you think of the new questions?
Well, actually, yes. Do you actually plan on some point at expanding the tutorial a tiny bit? Because as we were talking about earlier, there were quite a few things that I just didn't understand. Like, I didn't know that the buttons up top were actually buttons that were pressable. And I also didn't understand that... what was the other thing? That mines only synergized at a certain turning point, which I guess I should have known because they actually say it in their description. But do you plan on having like another... No. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, we haven't planned that, but if that's something that's required, then we should look into it, because yes, we realize that there are some things that we don't explain in the tutorial. But it might be. Sometimes it's fun to find these things out, like for example how the border expansion system works. It's at some points it's quite intricate, and I think it would be cool to find it out later on. Like if you're really experienced in the game, you would know what kind of effect mountains would have on your borders.
To be honest, that's actually one of the things. I think I put it in my email to you that I wanted to know, but I couldn't figure out for myself. And again, I'm not the wiki user type. I do like to figure things out on my own, but that won't stop me from harassing you, unfortunately, about it. But I don't understand exactly how the border expansion works. I think it might have something to do with overall wealth, but
actually, it's
way
a little
simpler
simpler than that. They basically grow over time, but the growth can be.
Spoiling everything again.
Sorry.
spoiler alert, right? Oh, okay.
No, I'll tell you. But basically, the borders, the growth of their borders gets slowed down on wasteland and mountains and dangerous animals. Am I right?
Yeah, there's some other things. Yeah.
There are a few factors that slow it down, but if it's just forest, it will just grow over time.
Is there anything that speeds it up?
There a little. There are a few things that speed up a little.
I won't ask you to actually spoil those, but it's just cool to know that there are actually things that speed them up.
Okay, there was another question in chat. Somebody said, "Do you already have plans for a new project if this one is successful enough?"
No.
We really don't.
We basically shut down every idea that was suggested in the past few months, because it would all degrade our motivation for Reus to already think of a new project. So we really don't have a new project. Also, we wouldn't know in what position we would be in after the release of Reus, so that's why we thought, well, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, we have really no idea how those would do. So whenever somebody in the office said, "Hey, I have a new idea," we were all like, "No!"
And then you killed them, right?
Exactly. That's why we're just with 4 people left now.
That's what I thought.
That makes sense to me. What was I going to say? You said you drew a lot of inspiration for the unlock and the progression over time from games like Binding of Isaac. So I wonder, I'm not saying this is a good or bad thing, I actually quite like it, but I wonder why you chose 3 specific tiers of unlocks? Like, was there a design choice behind that, or was it just like convenience, or did you just do that so they would be organized in eras so you could have the 3 different modes of play?
Yeah, I can't answer with certainty, because I think Alian would be the best person to answer, but what I think is what you said, like you can combine it with the eras, and that you have a little control over what is available to a player at a certain point of challenge. So now we know that if greater challenges start to spawn, you would also be able to have certain types of animals.
Okay, so it was more of a control and a stability thing than a. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but again, I can't be sure.
You can't be sure. Okay, fair enough. Now another. Oh yes, for the community, and I'm sure they want this. The ideal way to pronounce Reus or Reus.
We get asked this question a lot.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Reus. That's kind of like how I would say it if I pronounced it in a French accent, so I can deal with that. Reus.
Yeah,
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Okay. I speak French, so that's a thing I can do, I guess.
I'm just gonna call it something that's not even related
Yes.
to. I'm just kidding.
Well, actually, what we really like about the title is that in every discussion or in basically everything, there is always a Dutch guy that says, "Hey guys, did you know that voice or whatever is Dutch for giant?" And sometimes he gets what's the right word for this album?
Well,
I
let's
guess
see.
we're not sure.
He gets sworn at, yeah.
Let's
And
see.
other times, yeah, people say, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
Here's one comment saying that. Two comments right underneath each other, one next to the other. Let's see. This is on one video. There's three.
Yeah, it's also on the Steam forums. Hey, little factoid here.
Yeah, and it's kind of awesome. Although it reminds me of when I first started playing Don't Starve. The first night I ever had, I wouldn't put wood on the fire because I didn't know you could do that, and I died because I didn't have a fire.
What happens?
So still, like 5 months later, I'm getting comments on that first video being like, "Hey, you know you can put wood on the fire." I'm like, "Check the date."
You know, you would think if you have a full series that your viewers would learn that you've learned for Don't Starve,
Yeah.
that you could put wood on the fire, but I guess they didn't.
Because I seriously have like 60
I just wanna
episodes in
help.
so far, but I'm sure your game is going to be the exact same. And 5 years from now, 5 years from now, I'll still be getting comments on it occasionally that are like, "Hey, you know, Reus is Dutch for giant." I'll be like, "Ugh."
I think it's that's probably what we would say at the start of any post-mortem we will ever have. If we ever on stage somewhere, we will definitely say that. We are definitely with the same attitude when we looked up the first Let's Play videos. It was of course a really exciting moment for us to see the first ones pop up, and then we were sitting there the exact same way, like, "Oh, why aren't you replacing the plant over there? If you would just do this, it would be way better. Your prosperity would grow." But yeah, you have to get over it.
Have you seen any like really outstanding Let's Plays, like somebody that's just really amazing at the game yet?
I did not see that, but apparently there's someone on the Steam forums who claims that in the first 60-minute game he played, he already reached 2600 prosperity in the end. And
Whoa.
that's not, yeah, I mean, it's nowhere near our record, but it's a lot for your first playthrough of the 60-minute era. So if that's true, that's amazing.
Well, you know
One of the
there.
beta players got about 1120 or something in half an hour, and I was like, "Whoa, I never got that high."
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, there's always those really ridiculously amazing players, and you can never understand them. I can't anyways, because I played the game and it's not like I'm slacking, I'm not like looking over at the flowers while I do it, but there's no way I can ever. I think my first round I got like 300 prosperity. Max.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, then you have something to be better at. No,
So-
but we've seen everything in the first playthroughs from like 50 to what you said, like 1100. It can be crazy.
Let's see.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I don't have a question.
Okay. There was another question that came up in chat. Do you guys plan on implementing any sort of multiplayer?
We actually thought about that at first, but we were already quite ambitious with this project when we started it, so we quickly decided not to do that. I don't think we will implement a multiplayer aspect anytime soon because it's really complex. So I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Well, to be
I
honest,
think one of,
never mind. Go ahead.
I think we had one of the technical challenge already was the zooming part, right, Bas?
Yeah.
Like we already had a big challenge in making sure that you could smoothly zoom from all the way out to all the way in.
And all the way up
That's,
space palaces too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't zoom out that far.
Oh man.
No, that means you have to have both really high detail as well as a lot of sprites in the game. And I think that was a challenge, yeah.
Actually,
We didn't want to take
the code and I'm not sure what to call it. I almost wanted to call it netcode, but that's not right at all. The coding in this game seems very smooth. Did you guys spend a long time working on it? Like, there's a ton of individual sprites on screen, but I don't get any slowdown. I don't get any lag. If too many sprites appear, it doesn't start doing weird things. So
there are really a lot of sprites on screen, and also the blurring of the backgrounds and all kinds of fancy stuff. We spent quite a lot of time to make that as fast as we could, but we at least I'm still not completely happy with it. I think it could be faster.
But we still have a while before you reach the late game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Another question. I do notice that there are people walking around the villages and they're talking about things. I don't seem to be able to glean any information from that, though. Does what they're saying actually matter in terms of what the village is thinking?
Yeah. It's a small little system which we might expand on a little bit because their vocabulary is not that large, but it actually represents what they're thinking about, but it's not really precise. But if they're talking about war, they're definitely thinking about war. So we should keep that in mind.
In the future, are you thinking of maybe implementing a system like right now? A village goes to war, and they don't gain anything from the war. Generally, a war, especially in this time frame, is for gain or wealth or power. Have you ever thought of having like a looting system that goes on?
Yeah, I think there's actually loot in the game. You should look at the prosperity of a village that is winning a war. And usually you look at the village that is losing a war. But usually they just shoot up to their maximum food and use, I think, or stats of use.
Okay, but they so they maximize their current resources, but they don't gain extra.
No, they don't gain extra because then there would be extra. We would need extra stats somewhere in the environment.
Yeah.
So what does happen is that they, if they touch borders to villages and they destroy it, one of those destroys the other, they will quickly expand upon their land. So that is some sort of gain. That's a territorial war.
So would it be possible to actually like create a militaristic city that won't attack your giants and that you can just have them expand throughout the world?
If you're a good player, you can do that.
Oh, that's actually really cool. Anything else, Midnight?
Another user question was, is there going to be any plans for an idea of bigger or smaller planet choices? Or, well, they said plant, but I think they meant planet.
Yeah, we definitely want bigger planets. But we got a lot of comments when people saw the game first that the planet was too small, which felt really weird to us because we thought it was actually way too large for a beginning player. But that wasn't the point, that people did not yet understand how much the game would go into the details of the ecosystem. So we thought of having the smaller games start out on a smaller planet. But if we would do that now, I think people would feel a bit cheated that they would get on a smaller planet in the earlier eras. Bigger planets, that's mostly a technical thing. We cannot really support bigger planets than this, but it's definitely an interesting perspective from the gameplay. So depending on what optimizations we can do, that might happen.
Okay.
So I have another question, and this might be spoilers again, and if so, you don't have to answer it. I was talking about like militaristic states or making a militaristic state. How do you get them to be aggressive towards other villages but not the giants?
I think you should actually research that.
I should research it instead? Okay, but it is possible.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
okay.
It's not even that hard,
Not even that hard? Okay, because sometimes they start attacking the giants when they're greedy and not the other villages, and I'm like, come on guys, I'm trying to help you the best I can. And then I do my running around the world thing.
For example, some projects ask for one war. If you have the barracks, they will need to win a war to prove that they're worthy of the barracks. And you can help them with that. Yeah.
So
basically agree to go to war.
Again, I know it's absolutely ridiculous to ask you questions about the future when this game just came out, but I have kind of looked through the current achievements, and I'm wondering if in the future you might be interested in adding another arrow length and another tech tree.
I think another tech tree.
Like because you can, sorry, not another tech tree, another like I see what time frame these villages exist in, another time frame.
What do you mean, like another age progression for the village?
Stone Age, Middle Ages.
Yeah. So, like in the start of the project, we had all these cool ideas. I think I promised someone there would be a nuke in the game at some point, but that's not in there, unfortunately. Yeah, that's of course one of the ideas we have to increase the age progression of the villagers. But I'm not sure if that's the best way to improve on this game.
Dude, the nuke is really cool.
Yeah, that would be cool, right? They fire a nuke at one of the guys.
Or one of the other cities.
You know, you could have like this whole metagame out of trying to make people progress to like modern technology without having them be able to instantly kill the giants.
Yeah, that's probably a really delicate thing, yeah. There was so much ideas also about pollution. Right? That's also a thing we could do in the game.
And weather.
Weather, yeah. But we shouldn't name all the things that aren't in the game.
Now, the other thing that could be cool, and now this is leaving the realm of interview and going into the realm of, hey, this could happen. You could actually, in the future, have like, instead of expanding the planet, if you got into like the space age, you could pull a what's it called? What's that game? It was actually not very good.
Spore?
Spore. You could pull a spore and have them immigrate to another planet.
We actually, when we thought about the level progression, we thought about having different planets. But in the end, we chose to have everything happen on the same planet. Hence the story of like the civilizations that fade away over time.
Oh yeah.
But because the story is really about a planet, like what does humanity do to a planet, and that's why we wanted to keep it on one and the same planet instead of adding the idea of a universe with a removed focus from the planet.
Plus, imagine how bad the micromanagement would become if you had to do all of this for so many other worlds. That would just be crazy.
Yeah, that would be like a fetch for a really skilled player.
Well, the idea I actually had floating about in my head would involve the game on a single planet dying. Like this planet would be like level complete.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Oh, so if you were to move to another planet, I would have thought like this planet would be ditched. This planet has reached its full technological potential, and then you just have people with high technology but low resources on a foreign planet or on a distant planet, and then you could have them like split off and form their own countries and maybe even regress in terms of technology.
You should definitely go to the forums. I think people would love to talk about this. It's a really far off on what Reus is right now, and I'm not sure. I don't think we're gonna do that big of a change. Like
No, I know I'm being ridiculous now.
No, but I appreciate you mentioning it.
Yeah. So pretty much what you're thinking in the future is more on the same planet and maybe just more progressions, more trees. I can get on board with that. Any other questions, Midnight?
I think that's it, unless the viewers have any more, but I think they're just about exhausted.
Well, let's stall out for viewer questions for a tiny bit. So,
Okay.
anything else you want to talk about in terms of game inspiration, things you actually want the community to know?
Maybe a small fun thing is that you can press Control to switch these data layers, or toggle these data layers that are beneath the planet. Actually, something we didn't explain in the tutorials, or did we?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. Did you know that, Yassi?
Yes, I
Yeah,
did,
I
but I
also
was
saw you
actually told yesterday.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you can see some other stats. Like, we're really curious to the reaction of players in like a week when people would have the chance to play for tens of hours, 40 hours, because then you would really enter the late game and you would start using things like nature, natura, a lot. Yeah, because that's really interesting. We did a lot of the design mostly for the late game. So that's why it also feels a little bit odd to already talk about the future, although still a really large part of Reus that is undiscovered by, I guess, all players except for the beta player.
Well, you know the really crazy thing about Reus, and the reason I think it's been so successful so far as a game, is it inspires a lot of imagination.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We definitely found that out in the early stages when we revealed some trailers. Uh, then we found out how big imagination can be around God games. I mean, God games can go in every direction. If you compare this with other God games, you see how much different things there are out there.
Yeah.
And that is a problem in some cases. It's also a really cool thing about God games. It's why there should be more, but it's also a problem with expectations.
Well, the thing is, with a God game, you kind of build in the expectation that anything can be done. So I guess the trick is limiting the gods.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting thing. What Adrian wrote a design blog over, in the earlier part, because that's what we didn't want to do, limit the gods. Of course, there are always limiting mechanics like the cooldowns, but in Reus it's really easy to just destroy anything you want. Maybe in the end it isn't anymore, but it's really easy to destroy any village you want. But the problem lies in the balance and not in the strength of your giants. It's not like you would fight another giant or you would fight another village or another god. You basically have to balance everything, which is I think the most hard problem for a god.
Okay, well, so you wanted to not limit the gods, but I do notice that if faced by a fairly large army, they do actually go down rather fast. Do you know what the reason is behind this design choice? Because you don't... I noticed in my last game, I actually lost my forest giant. And it didn't take very long. I actually just looked away for a little while, and my village marched out like the biggest army I'd ever seen and just bombarded it with arrows.
So how many prosperity did that village have? Do you remember?
Probably quite a few. Quite a bit.
Yeah, so at some point we want that to happen, but maybe, it depends on how many prosperity you have, how much prosperity you have, whether that was a good thing or not.
So it's probably just because. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by what's actually going on here. Remember, at this point, I figure out that armies can actually march out and just kill your dangerous animals that you've put down.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels rather nasty that they just destroy what you made for them.
Oh, here they go.
Yeah, and they really wanted a circus too. I'm like, here, have some foxes, and they go out and kill my foxes. Awful people. So did we get any more questions in the...
There was one or two, but then Martin from your development team came in. I think that's how his name is pronounced.
Hi, Martin.
He came into the chat. Whatever. So I'm looking for the questions now. I don't know. I can't find them, but it's Exotics, which is another YouTuber that I think you guys gave early access to. He wanted to thank you guys and say that the game was really amazing.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, like I said before to a lot of people, we really appreciate all the help that people can give in explaining roads. There was a problem in what to expect of roads, and we would rather have the people do it beforehand rather than buying something they would be disappointed by their expectations. So we try to reach a lot of people about early access.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of surprised. Clearly, it hasn't affected you too much. At how few of the bigger YouTubers paid attention. Like I'm assuming Northernline will eventually do a video because he always does. But as far as I could see, with the people I follow, it was pretty much Force Strategy Gaming and myself, and I'm not a bigger YouTuber.
Well, yeah, I think some of them have picked up on it. I should ask them actually, but yeah, we'll see it after the weekend. We'll see how the week goes.
Clearly it hasn't affected you too much, and I think that all you're going to do is see more and more people buying it in the next few days, as these bigger YouTubers actually find it. But.
Yeah, what's really hard for me to imagine So I'm doing the PR and marketing for the game, which I don't have too much experience with, namely this project. That it's so huge. The world's so huge. Like if you get thousands of people interested in your game, that's still like nothing. Nothing if you compare it to the entire legion of gamers that's living around the world.
Yeah,
so there's always more. But that's cool.
That's true. The thing with YouTube in general is I've always found that it's more of a cascading effect. Like for the very few people who watch YouTube regularly and who watch reviewers, a lot of those people will then talk to their friends. So I don't think it's so much the direct views, I think it's the cascade that actually affects how many copies are purchased. And of course, just the quality of the game. And that's something really unique in indie gaming, that I find that a good quality game will almost always sell more than a poor quality game. It doesn't happen in AAA that way.
Yeah, but the sad thing is that sometimes we don't know about the really high quality games that we do not know of course. So sometimes they just don't break into the open. There are probably a lot of really cool games that we haven't seen.
Yeah, which is actually more of a problem with Steam than anything else. I think for an indie game, it's incredibly important to get onto Steam.
Yeah, that was our biggest achievement as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not only Steam. It's every. I mean, you can also like spread your game for free in the first. If there's a platform for that, which of course there are many of them.
Well, there are many of them, but none of them actually get that much publicity, all things considered.
Yeah, not from the mainstream as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, any other questions, Midnight? Sorry, I've kind of hijacked this. Midnight? I think he's left.
Hello?
Has everyone left?
Hello.
Hey.
Okay. No,
that was strange.
what happened there?
I don't know. It was either my internet or your internet cut out. I don't know.
Huh.
But so there was one other question. It was from It's Exotics again. He asked if there was going to be a plush of the ocean giant.
Actually, oh man, one of our fans made one, and it's super awesome. But we are looking into maybe creating plush things or models. I'm not sure yet, but we are definitely looking into that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing limiting us from creating merchandise is like how many demand there is for it. Like if we know that a lot of people want plush ocean giants, they're definitely gonna be there. That easy.
I know I would buy one. I'd end up getting it for my girlfriend, and then she'd be like, "I don't want this," and I'll be like crying in the corner.
I'll take it. No matter.
Well, you know, the only person anyone can really shop for is themselves.
It's true.
So, I've come to terms with that. Anyways, I'm trying to think of other questions, and I'm trying to look for other questions. We've already stated who designed the giants, I think. If you want to give them one more.
Yeah,
One more shout out. Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Ronnie?
He's the main man behind the Giants.
Yeah, he also posted a blog about it on the Abbey Games website.
Yeah.
Which explains how he designed the fourth giant.
Yeah, he describes the process.
Well, you know, it's kind of strange how I guess the reason that this game didn't have a lot of publicity just coming out is because you guys are an indie gaming company that hasn't really made much yet. What else have you guys worked on in your life, or is this like all of your first projects?
Okay, so we have two projects. One I didn't work on, but that's really fun.
Which one?
Palooza.
Oh yeah, so we made a little game about, it's a 4-player local multiplayer game where you just have to smack llamas.
What?
Okay, you have to send me a link to this. I do a show called Couch Co-op that features local multiplayer.
Oh yeah, Martin, you should put it in the chat. That's the name of the game, and you can easily find it out.
It's really fun, but it's also really small. But basically, you smack llamas for points, and they lose their wool, and as soon as they don't have any wool left, they just start raging around, and if you get hit by one of them, you lose a life.
And it's actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like an awesome game.
That sounds truly amazing, actually. I would be up for that.
Yeah, but of course, Reus is our first commercial project we started on, which we actually want to promote. But during one of the Ludum Dares, we joined as a company, Ludum Dare Game Jam.
Yeah.
Then we made a game called Tiny Tanic. That's our second game. That's all we have. And it's about running around on a really small Titanic while things are going messy, and a lot of people run around. A lot of community-generated characters, and they basically try to throw you off board, and you're trying to throw them off the ship.
Basically, you try to kill everyone.
Well, for a Ludum Dare game, that sounds really awesome. What was the theme that year?
Tiny worlds.
Tiny worlds.
Ah.
But it's not as polished, the game, but at some point a few portals asked whether they could host it, and so we actually got our first revenue from that. Well, yeah, I think we already have enough for a hamburger.
But it's on our website. You can play it for free.
Yeah, you can play it.
Believe me, I know how that small revenue feels. It took me 4 months to make enough to get paid on YouTube when I started. So that was $100 in 4 months.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's way more than Tiny Tanic.
Anyways, other than that, I'm not sure if I have any questions. I'm kind of just wanting to see these clowns now because I just finished the circus in the game.
Oh yeah, me too. Ever since you got the achievement, I'm looking, but I can't see him yet.
One of the cool things about our development process was that in the end we had things smooth, really smooth, so people could put things in the game without anybody else noticing. So there are actually things in the game that you don't even know about as a developer, even if you're the lead programmer like Bas.
That does remind me of a question that I wanted to ask, but I forgot all about it until now. Are there any, obviously you're not going to tell them, but are there any huge Easter eggs that we just haven't discovered?
Maybe.
I like that answer. Stick with it.
I don't know. I don't know how many
Maybe.
plays you've seen, but even on the internet there are a few that really surprised me.
Well, I'm kind of surprised by the total amount of even projects, because I know I haven't unlocked them all yet, and I still see new ones every time I start a game. Oh, excuse me, hiccup there.
Yeah.
And that brings up a good point, and you may not want to say this either, but how many projects are in the game?
You can actually view that if you want.
It's again on our wiki, and there all the projects are listed and how to get them.
It's also in the menu.
It's also in the menu. Yeah.
It's also in the menu.
Yeah, like the unlocked menu we have.
Okay.
Although you cannot see what they are actually, but you can just get a glimpse of it.
Okay, that's
there
kind
are 30 or something.
No, I think at this point I'd actually just stop focusing on the village at all because I finished the clown project.
I gotta see this.
Yeah, there's only like 10 minutes left in the video, so you know, when we started out this interview, we were saying we probably wouldn't go for an hour and 16 minutes.
Yeah, I actually didn't think that it would, but I guess it did.
Yeah, apparently it was a lot of fun. So.
Damn, I really want to see those clowns though.
Yeah, have you
Yeah.
Have you actually posted the link to that llama game in the description?
His computer froze up for a minute, but I think he's getting it now.
Oh, okay.
Martha, you should get the Llama Palooza link.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Any other final closing out questions?
I want to say one little thing, which is kind of an Easter egg.
Okay.
But I'm gonna do it anyway. There are these special villagers like clowns. They actually make a sound once in a while, and you should really hear that because it's super funny.
Oh,
Okay.
I really am disappointed in myself. I was just so focused.
What village are they a part of?
Oh, I don't know what the villages are called.
No, I don't mean like the name. I meant the biome.
Oh, and the circus can spawn in different biomes. I think forest and desert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the mad scientist also has these special dudes, which are also really awesome.
Okay, we have one more question, and I think that'll be our last one. Vapid Games, or Vapid, which is also another YouTuber, asked, "Is Solid Snake in the game?"
Well, there are crates in the game.
He could be in the game, apparently.
He'll be hidden under the crate, though.
Maybe.
But I think the reason why I asked is because he sounds just like Solid Snake. I'm actually gonna add him to the call real fast so you guys can hear him, if he's not busy.
So, I guess I actually do have another question. Just kind of a closing out themed question, which is, so this is your first major title that you've developed. Was it what you expected out of developing a major title? I know it's been in development for, well, I found it like 4 months ago, I think. But is it what you expected when it came to developing a game, or was it different? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. It's hard to look back on how inexperienced we were, because we were definitely really unprofessional at the start of the project. Although we had a good mindset, I think in the end, like a few weeks before everything happened, we did expect it, most of it.
Yeah.
But in the start of the project, we wouldn't have imagined that Reus would be like this, or that 15 people would have worked on it, or that we would be on Steam and all these other platforms.
Oh, and we got one more question actually, which is a good one. Who did the sweet narration in the trailer?
There's some echoing going on right now.
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from.
I can't even hear it. Maybe it's me.
Okay, it's gone. No. Okay. Well, it was actually really cool because the release trailer was made in the last few days, and we didn't really have a person who could do the voiceover. So the brother Erik, the brother of Maarten, he made a trailer, and he reached out to a lot of people, and in the end he found Jim willing to do the voiceover, and he just sent over his voice, and it was amazing. He did his countdown like 10, 9. It was a really cool voice, and we got in contact with him, and he wants to do it for free, just for his show reel, and we're really grateful for him. So we should definitely give him a shout out. Thanks, Jim, and I think his Facebook page is Tech Gnosis.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for showing up, guys. I think that's pretty much it for the questions. So again, this was Manuel and Bas. I'm pretty sure I got those right.
You did.
The lead programmer and, well, to be honest, I don't know what Manuel does, but he's mainly been my PR guy.
He is AI gameplay programmer and co-founder.
And PR guy.
Exactly.
And PR guy.
Yeah, you know, we're a small company.
So, thank them for showing up, and you should really invest in this game. It's worth the $8 to $10, depending on how the sale is.
Steam, GOG, or whatever. Desura, I think.
$8.
And Martin, again, is in the chat, so thank him for showing up, too. And I think we should get Vapid to give us a bit of a thank yous for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.
PMCs?
PMCs? Nanomachines. Damn.
That was great.